Hi everybody, my name is Gerone Wright and you're joining me again on my Geronification channel for another interesting video. These videos are going to keep coming, whereas I don't have no end, and the material that I have to demonstrate my point, and that I have actually encountered a true paranormal experience and encounter which enables me to see things for what they truly are. I can see multidimensional images, I have a multidimensional understanding, and I am pretty much a multidimensional individual. And I am claiming through all of this that I am linked to that of everything ancient, and our ancient ancestors and the messages that they left behind. Even those messages that actually were before the times of mankind, which from through to the point of our understanding. I'm telling you that there is much more to our evolution than you could possibly ever imagine, like times 10 maybe. You know what I mean? So mankind has been mankind, but in other different forms of mankind. And this is the reason why we have everything that is around us, that which seems so unreal, and not being able to grasp the reality of. But these things have always been there, and because our ancestors have always been there, just not in the shapes and the forms that we would like for them to have been in. Okay? Alright. I have this Egyptian image up here. Okay, and I'm going to take this, I'm going to dissect this Egyptian image for you, glyph for you, so that you can see for yourself the reality and what is around you. And it's amazing how scientists, Egyptologists, and how experts of antiquities and images and glyph imagery, how they have totally got these images all wrong. And in me doing this, I can show you a person that has no expertise in this area, but yet just through my genuine paranormal experience and encounter, and through the eyes of our ancestors, I can show you what this actually says and what's the messages behind this. Okay, so join me in this video and just watch me as I just disprove anything about this. The widespread scientific analysis of this image is that you have Egyptians cutting wood and shaping wood, and it's left at that. I'm telling you that it's profoundly wrong, and in doing so, I will show you the reality and what's actually being said here. And when I'm done, I guarantee you that you will be convinced that I am the person that can read this, and those that I have the experts that I read this, are not the ones that are best suited for the job. And in fact, they should be sidelined. Okay? Nothing meant more to our ancestors back then, in this time, as we do now, than our genetic identities, who we are genetically. So therefore, all of these images, all of these glyphs, all of the carvings, everything, therefore, is a genetic grail to the identity of the people that's being depicted. That was simple enough, right? Now all I have to do is just show you what I'm stating is actually a true fact. Let's go over here to the wood that they said that this guy is carving. First of all, notice that we have a dark blackened piece of wood and then a white piece of wood, which I'm telling you represents the tree of life, showing you that it was bridged over. While you're saying, well, Jerome, then black was first. Why is not, if the tree of life of what you're stating is black being bridged over white, then why is this piece here not in the ground? If this is a tree of life, then if this is white being bridged over black. Okay, first of all, let's go here, because this black trunk up here represents this piece, a branch of the tree of life. Okay, it's showing you a branch of the tree of life, which was initially African and of our black ape ancestor. Okay, and let me bear with me, people, because I'm going to take you through some images, meaning our blackest of ancestors. Those guys, the ape images and the ape mankind images, they look familiarly closer and reminiscent of those guys. Okay, that's what this represents. Now, this part of the tree of life represents that of this point at the time of our Egyptian ancestors. They're telling us that at a point during the Egyptian time, ancient Egyptian time, after mankind evolved to this point through a genetic manipulation process, which there is a record of to show how they got to those later versions, and that's what this is all about. They reattach genes that you saw by the rope binding this together. They reattach the genes to that of our originating genes, which meaning a branch, a piece of, and it was reattached, rebridged over. It's my position that every 4, 5, and 600 years, what was previously genetically altered can be re-intervened after it has ran its course. And there are genetic signs that show them how and when this procedure can take place again. This is how we got from our darkest of ape ancestor, African ancestor, to that of our lightest Caucasian counterparts. That's what this is also stating right here. For those of you that know how to read this, then the message is loud and clear, as I do. But it gets better, so stay with me, people. Now, this saw is equivalent to that leaf that the Egyptians have, and I wish I would have had a piece of it here to show you that. Did you ever see like a long leaf stem, leaf green with a point on it? It's showing you that this is not being solved. These genetics that were bridged over here are being spliced, and those genetics are being pulled out into this individual. Now, this person here with the pickaxe is showing you that the image of mankind is being reshaped physically and genetically by a rebridging and a reintroduction of our black genes, our ancestral African genes. This is how they emerged. All different other likenesses emerged from that of ape Africans and the original man from those genes, which were very difficult genes to get away from. So this is the reason why we have all of these separations on our continents. And you have all these. My position is that all of our ancient civilizations are a testimonial of how mankind evolved away from their ape likenesses, their African likenesses, to all of the other subsequent likenesses that came afterwards. A continuation of rebridging over, a dilution of genes of that of the blacks and ape, which were the most difficult genes to overcome. Now, I'm gonna prove this to you now, people. Now, we didn't even get there yet. I'm just explaining things in just layman terms. Now, it's my position that they are telling us that the tree of life had already been at this point genetically altered, and then a limb from the genes from the originating, which is African genes, was reattached again and broken down again. A reintroduction. That's what this is telling you. Now, can this be true? Yes, it's true. Now, do you remember when I said that about hair loss? I did a hair loss video where I talked about how people with thinning hair and losing hair. I did a video, and here's a image of a African woman or African American woman where she's suffering from hair loss. You see that right there? It was my position that this woman is losing her hair. I remember stories, I can't go into it, about how they lose their hair because of weaves and because they didn't take care of their hair from hot ironing and straight ironing, and then they just ran out of excuses, and then they came up with this disease. I forget what the name of it is, alopecia or whatever they call it, whatever it is. To hell with all of that. The reason why hair is being lost is because those that have thinning and balding hair, like myself, I have a receding hairline, is because you are more close genetically to this fellow. And this fellow, which is 98% compatible genetically with that of mankind. Those that are closer genetically to this guy, your hair is out of your head. And I explain why in the video. If you didn't see that video, you must see the video, people, because I go into some interesting details about that. But this is the reason why we're losing our hair. Because of this guy, his genes, and I know what is causing for hair loss too, by the way, too, people. And I explained some of it in that video. Now, so I'm telling you that there was a reintroduction of these genes. Now, let's look at these two individuals right here. This individual has a full, lush, full head of hair, where this individual does not. In fact, I got to bring up a better picture to show you that. You probably say, well, maybe that's an older person and one is younger and one is older. Well, if you look closely at the mouth, that person is pretty much genetically different altogether. If you take a close look at the mouth there. You know why? Now you probably say, well, this is an older guy. I can't buy into that, Jerome. This is definitely an older guy, and I can see that. I mean, this is definitely an older guy. Well, I just seen something as I'm doing this. I just seen something, and I'm wondering if I got this right. And it's lending to everything that I just stated here. Is it just me, or I mean, I see his hands over there. Is it possible? Nah. Maybe it's just me, but I'm gonna point it out anyway. Well, one hand is there. Where's the other? Oh, the other hand is up there. No, I think I'm seeing things. Because one hand is there, and then the other. How come I'm not seeing it in this one, though? Why am I not seeing that hand in this one? Oh, okay, I know why. There's a shadow, a light shadow that actually has taken it away. That's amazing. That's amazing there. But anyway, let's get back to the video. The reason why this guy's hair is thinning is not because he is an old man and he is genetically bald. This goes back to my video that you should have watched. If you didn't watch, you'll watch it now. Because you know why? Everything that I stated in that video about people losing their hair is actually explained right here in this glyph. About people that loses their hair. This is how all my stuff is interlinking, people. Everything is linked. It's because this guy and this guy are genetically closer in relationship than this person. And this is why this person is different. And it's showing you right there in the image. Can I prove it? Sure I can. All you have to do is see this guy as this guy. kind of hard to do, ain't it? Like that. Want me to give you a hand? Can you can't see this guy as being that guy there? You sure? You ready for the bombshell, people? You ready for the bombshell? Well, you don't see his other face. His other face is this guy's face. You don't see it, do you? Look more closely. This guy is here, but not here. Right here, on the back of his head, in that bald spot. Look in the bald spot, people, and you'll see the face of these guys. Yep. You see the face of these guys. I'm going to pull it in closer, and I'm going to show you, because people, there, see the face? Let me help you. I'll draw it out. And this is a popular Egyptian glyph. It's here. Right up in there. Eye area. Nose. You see that, people? It's our ape ancestor in the back of his head. You know why that's there? Because this Egyptian glyph is telling you exactly what I just told you, that they're splicing into the tree of life. They bounded genes to the originating genes, a limb from the originating states, meaning African genes again, and they bridged over from a point that they already established. And this point, and there's records of this people that can go from that point and beyond and forward. So, through all of our ancient records, through Christianity, through ancient Roman images, everything can be read backwards through to this point, beyond this point, and our dear earlier explorers, which were the British, commissioned by Spain and the Vatican and all these early explorers, Columbus, Pierre Rice, and all of them, they seem to have all of these extraordinary maps and all of this extraordinary stuff going on. They went everywhere and so-called called themselves erasing history to rewrite it to fit that of and their own imaginations, whereas the truth was always there. This guy is telling you that he knew who he genetically was back then. I don't know how many years old, this is these Egyptian glyphs, but he's showing you, look at the monkey's face. I am a monkey of African descent. I know how to genetically intervene into the tree of life, just like they're telling you with Adam and Eve, the whole nine. Here, let me show you how the Christian folks are telling you. If I can find my Adam and Eve. Here's one of the originating images, and I just did a picture glyph on it, and this is the expulsion from the Garden of Adam and Eve by Marcasio Masalano, okay, and this is how they're telling you the same exact thing. Watch this, and this was actually altered from its original state, and I just did a video on this too, by the way, people. But look how they're telling you. If you look, and I did a video, go see the video. Look at the 8 underneath the forms of the clothes. They removed it here, but they're telling you that there were black genes. That's what they're saying here, bridged over by reptilian, and they show you the green sword. Now they switched the sword here and made it black genes bridged over by reptilian, and they gave the angel-like figure up here the reptilian appearance to show you which genes were utilized to alter mankind's genetics. This expulsion is Adam and Eve leaving the Garden of Eden less blacker or less African or less ape than before they were in. They were genetically altered to actually move further away from their African ape descendant, and which actually calls for the more genetically pure presence of the white gene. And this is what this is about. Now, we're back to this. Here's a version of it, untouched by me, and see if you can see the ape for yourself. You see the eye, the top of the nose, and then there's the mouth. You see that? He's stating, look how this almost got the bigger lips there. They're showing you that they were more genetically close at that point. And you know what's amazing about this? You see those big red lips there? And then the monkey's face there? Now look how on point I am. Look at the red in lips on this guy right here. Look at the red in lips. Look at that. And look at the straight like hair all over the place. Look. Look at this. Look at that. Now look at this guy. Look at this. The same exact message. Look at this, people. Lips, hair, lips, hair, and then finally there's the face of the monkey right there. Splicing into the tree of life. Taking genes out and changing them. Here is showing you the same exact thing. You see the black pickaxe? Altering that of the genes of mankind, altering the shapes of mankind. Mussolini or Mussolini, or whatever his damn name is busted for doing the same exact thing. Let me show you the faces of the apes. If you Google this image, you see where I have that ape highlighted there? You see that? There's imprints of the ape right there. You see the eye, the nose, the open mouth, and then right in front of it, I didn't highlight this, but right in front of it, oh yes I did, there's a reptilian ape right here. I'm going over. You see it right there? And there's 1, 2, 3 monkeys right there. Genetically shown, genetically altered. And the sword represents the splicing. And here, they changed it in the restoration. If you look here, in Adam's hair, going in both directions, there's morphing faces. I have a video out on this. If you want to see the video, you're more than welcome to go ahead and check the video out. But people, our Egyptologists have no idea, have no clue, completely clueless. The entire history of those that have read through these Egyptian glyphs must now come to a turnaround. It's wrong on its face. It's fundamentally wrong. And you know what they say, false in one is false in all. The entire Egypt history, ancient history, is more dealing with who these beings genetically are and how they genetically evolved from the ancestor before them, which was their African ancestor. And then before that, their ape ancestor. It's my position that the occupation of Africa, those that have invaded Africa, that are were more wiser than those of the Africans, or so-called, they came back and destroyed the ancient history so you could not follow the genetic railroad through from the ape through to Africa, through to Egypt, and the entire Asian world. In fact, I'm doing the image of Shirikat or Shiriki or whatever that is, and it's the same thing, people. The same exact thing. I can take you here through China, through Japan. It's all the same exact thing. How those genetics evolved from our originating ancestor, that of the ape. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. And by now, if you're not with me, you should be, because this is it's right in your face. Look at that, people. Tree of life. He's splicing into the tree of life. He's altering himself genetically sacrificing himself on the tree of life, being genetically altered. What genes are being altered? My ape ancestral gene is being altered. This person over here is showing you, if you don't get it here, this person is saying, reshaping the image of man from the original origins, which are that of the black gene. This explains, people, why we have dramatically changed from these creatures and these likenesses to becoming the likenesses that we are today. And I like this image. To these likenesses, black likenesses. There's a black man right down in here, African man right there. Now, who was all affected? There's a Chinese woman. Who was all affected by this? Everyone, not just mankind. Each and every ape species that was created, other creatures that we were bridged over, lions, tigers, elephants, horses, all of these creatures through this genetic altering process was affected. And what's being shown here is that through each leg of these alterings, these creatures can genetically be identified specifically to that time and place and time that they were genetically altered. This guy being closer with us and then going backwards. And I can show you which other creatures were done with this guy. There's a complete record. Renaissance artists boastfully mention it in all of the famous Renaissance artwork. It's in biblical times. Noah with the great deluge and the great flood and all of that. It's not an actual flood, people. They're talking, well, it is a flood, but not in the sense of being that of a global flood or man being, you know what it is? A genetic flood, where all of these creatures, these animals that Noah got together, male hormones and female hormones, with these creatures, combinated them in a cauldron, cult-like way, in a cooking kettle, so to speak. They mixed all of these genes together, and then came back and intact the originating genes of man, which was our ape ancestor, black ancestor. And that's what the story of Noah is all about. And for those of you that don't believe it, we can take it, and I can undo it. I can take you back through it, which creatures, at which time, at which place, and in which era contributed genetically to the altering of mankind, to move them away further from looking like these guys and these guys, to finally becoming more so. And this is what the story of Adam and Eve is about, because it's not referencing the creation of all mankind. It's just Adam and Eve is a story about the creation of Caucasian mankind genetically. That's what that story is about. You're watching my Geronification channel. I'll be back with you on my other I want to come back with a second portion of the my video in Sri Lanka of the Sigiriya mountaintop palace. Okay, so I'll be back at that. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to let this go for now. But Egypt glyphs, I can now stake a claim in them, because everything that has been read has to be undone. You have been misled, whether it be purposely, in some cases yes, because those have been there first. And it's amazing how the culprits of this always arrive on the scene first. You know what I mean? You got the Romans, the Britons, and then that of the explorers commissioned by the Vatican. These scenes are scenes of crimes. Whether it's in the Maya, whether it's in Cambodia, all of these places where they targeted to invade, it was to alter the identity, well, not the identity, the history of these people. They stole these people's identity. Even in Egypt, everybody's identity has been stolen and a lie has been told. Look at this for what it is. That man is not cutting wood. Why would he have to cut it when all he have to do is take the rope off of it? It's right there at the same height. Why would he tie it there? Why wouldn't he have just a post at that size? Why are the posts two different colors? Why are they bound in rope? You see what I'm saying, people? Makes more sense that black genes and black genes altered, rebound together, and then genetically spliced again, and the genes that are taken out, and it's showing you what's actually being told. The rest of the glyph will have the rest of the story. And these are the genes that are being played with. Our ancient ape ancestor, which evolved to that of Africa, Africans, Egyptians, and they're showing you here how now, hundreds of years later, after the first altering, they're doing it again. This image, I don't know, you have to Google it, but I'm sure everybody knows what that is, but this is a bona fide Egyptian glyph. And this is, I think, like my third or so video on this, but this one is I think this one is more compelling. Alright, so my name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. I'll make this video short, and I'll get with you in my next video. So I hope you stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Thank you.